Hopefully it won't be too loud where you won't be able to hear me at all. You guys said you can hear fine, so okay. Hopefully that's all right. Sounds great. All right. Yeah, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your heavenly sight. He is our strength and our redeemer. And it's in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect today's message. Amen. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome. Uh, said you're happy that it's loud? Okay, cool. Hopefully I'll be loud enough. How you doing, Sister Deja? How you doing, Anthony? How you doing, Big Brother Thomas? How you doing, Sister Betty? How you doing, Shima? Bounty? Top Gunner, thanks for being part of the community. Rainbow, Brother Clem, Tree by Living Water. Awesome, awesome. I'm sorry, it's making me skip all over the place. If I miss your name or your comment, please forgive me. Hello, how you doing, Humble King of Kings? Alrighty. How you doing, Sister Dawn? We're going to get ready to get into today and continue with our FAQ. We've been dealing with trauma for a long time. We're going to kind of step outside of trauma, although we're still not going to forget our affirmations, right? Romans 8:1, Romans 8:11, Romans 8:18, Romans 8:19, Romans 8:28. And while we're getting ready to go into this, once again, I'm thanking everybody. As always, it's Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken. Shabbat shalom to everybody. Shabbat shalom to you, Sister Barbara, to Katie. Hello, everybody. How you doing? We give all honor and praise once again to the Most High. We give all honor and praise to him again for my wife, the Honorable Amma, who's living a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A-N-D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. She's a healer, herbalist, chemist, and biologist by degree. The tincture of the month, although she has many tinctures to help with healing. The tincture of the month is I Beat Diabetes. So if you're looking for something to help out with that, or preventive stuff, or stuff that you want for the family, etc., feel free to help her business out. And we're thankful and grateful. And hello to everybody once again. Excited to be on. This is part 45 of this FAQ series. It's a frequently asked questions series. And thank you again to the moderators, ministerial staff, to Lottie Dottie, everybody. If it's your first time with us, one time of many. If you're more, if you're African, if you're Native, if you're Black, if you're a human being, if you're a follower of the way, no matter who you are, we're thankful and grateful that you would take time out to be with us today. How you doing, Sister Rhonda? So thank you to everybody for being on both platforms, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on TikTok. We're thankful, we're grateful for you all. We appreciate you. How you doing, Black Vince at 77? Say, guys, we're living in the end times. Yep, we are living in the end times. We definitely believe in such things. How you doing, Krypton? How you doing, Freezy? MJ Freezy, I think it is. Moon Juice, okay, how you doing? Thanks for being part of the community. User 67058. Everybody who's coming on, we appreciate it. Right? Today, we want to get into something very specific. We want to get into something specific as far as even our... we want to talk about something very specific, including our... when we talk about frequently asked questions series, we've been putting out different topics to help answer a lot of questions that people may have with a lot of different things. And so today, we are going to focus specifically in that rich people are hated on, right? So one of the reasons why you might feel like you're hated on, community hated on, people hated on, family hated on, truth given hated on, is because people don't like rich people. Rich people are hated on. And a lot of our frequently asked questions, a lot of the reasons we have issues with learning who we are and doing things like that and feeling grand and not allowing people to come against us is because people who are rich in anything are hated on. And I mean that. People who are rich. See, now the problem is when we talk about being rich, and if you want to have a foundational scripture, right, which we do, for those who need to, you can go to Revelation chapter 2, verse 9, right? Where it says that the Most High knows your tribulation, right? Yahshua speaking, he says, I know your tribulation. I know what you've gone through. I know what you're dealing with. I know that you feel like you're poor. But then what does it say in parentheses in English? In English versions, it'll say, but thou art rich. That but cancels out. right? And today I want to remind you that you're rich, right? You said people still out here chasing money and not other humans. Yep, yeah, very much so. So, but I want you to comprehend that you can be rich in more than just money. By the way, being rich in money is not a sin anyway. And thank you for the compliment, Eternal. So being rich in money is not a sin, right? It is the love of money that's the root of all evil. Money itself is not evil. And money really is just an exchange. Money is a medium. Money is media. Like what we're using now is media. It's a form of exchange. We're using either TikTok or YouTube, or somebody catches a piece of this somewhere else later on when it's posted. You are, in fact, using a medium, right? TikTok is a medium. TikTok is not evil, but the love of it, right, or thinking that all my actions need to go just towards it, then it becomes evil. How you doing, Nine? Right? So money is supposed to be a medium of exchange, no matter if it has dead people on it, no matter if it has a building on it, no matter if it's just a bar of gold, silver, right? By the way, money's not even real unless it has something to back it up. So a lot of us might have a whole bunch of money, but you need to spend that money to get something real because money has nothing to back it up. So you look at the Warren Buffetts of the world, you think Warren Buffett is rich because he's got a bunch of money. Warren Buffett is rich because he got land and businesses, right? You can be rich in land. You can be rich in business. You can be rich in your speech. You can be rich in your gift. You can be rich in your giving. You can be rich in receiving. You can be rich in love. You can be rich in honor. You can be rich in self-confidence. You can be rich in self-competence, right? You can be rich in shalom. Shabbat shalom, by the way, once again to everybody, which is peace. You can be rich in peace, right? You can be rich in self-sacrificing. You can be rich in a lot of things. And one of the reasons why a lot of people are questioning a lot of things going on is because you don't believe that you're actually rich. Somebody says something and you take something they say the wrong way because you feel like you might be poor in that, not realizing that you can still be rich. A lot of times fights and arguments happen with other people because we don't really believe that we're actually rich enough to be able to withstand the argument. Somebody says you need to get better in something, and because you don't think you think that something might be the end all be all of who you are, or you make it that, you start arguing. Hopefully you guys comprehend what I'm saying in that regard, right? Like you have to recognize your riches, and your riches are greater than just money. You are rich. And what I want to talk about today is one of the reasons why we receive hate is because people hate on the rich, right? People hate on what is rich. They really do. People hate on what is rich or anything that is rich, right? Matter of fact, people will lie and say, ha, that's rich, right? That's even another way of defining being rich, right? Like one way of defining that which is rich is literally being able to say, like, oh, okay, that's rich, that's funny, right? That's cute. You think that you're that's rich, right? Like people hate on that which is rich. People think that rich only means the accumulation of things, right? But here's the deal. If we were to go into and if you were to do some quick search, some quick study, some quick etymology, how you doing, Sister Beverly? And you were to, and how you doing, Sir Stephen? I'm sorry I missed you. If you were to do some research on what rich is, even where it comes from the Germanic terms, even from eventually what would be what they call Middle English, and what then comes from something that makes its way en français, riche, right? If you were to study the word rich and what it's used for, even in what we try to, in what the language now that we speak, rich actually means that you are able to give. You have something you're able to give, right? I'm able to give something that other people cannot give. People don't get mad at Bill Gates because he's rich only. They get mad, get the context. They get mad at Bill Gates because they say you could be giving your money to something better or to another people or to something greater. People don't get mad at people in our community because they're rich or because they get left the community. But people should recognize that, hey, people get really frustrated when you don't give your riches back. The word rich actually, from what, even if we're talking about the language we speak now, the word rich is actually saying that I need to be able to have something to give, right? That is why it is better to give than it is to receive and therefore receive, right? It's better to give out something because if you can give out something, you're rich. right? Like we don't comprehend this because we come from a very capitalistic mindset. You said you're rich, you feel in life, you feel you don't have money, but everything you need plus some of what you want. I'm on, right? Yeah. But we are rich. We all have something we can give. And when you don't think you have anything to give, that's when you start doubting whether you are rich, right? Revelation 2:9. I know your tribulation. I know that some of y'all are going to go to jail. I know that some of y'all are going to go to prison. I know that there are people that say that they are you and are not. However, what does it say? But you are rich. And if you can have an ear to hear that, then there's a blessing waiting for you that's greater than anything you've been looking for, right? That's right now unto him who's able to do exceeding abundantly, exceeds abundance, exceeding abundantly above all that you could ever ask or think. You are rich. You are rich. Romans 8:1. You are above condemnation because you're rich in the spirit and not in the flesh. You traded in them flesh coins for that currency called rich, for that currency called spirit. Thou art rich. How you doing, Chocolate the Vegan? Thanks for being part of the community. Thanks for being part of the community, Brat0925. Right? We have to recognize that we are rich. You are rich because you have something to give. It's your having something to give that qualifies you to be rich. And see, the things that you have to do some for those of us who've done some traveling stuff. You might be, and even if you haven't, if you've done some research, you'll be able to recognize what I'm about to say when I say it. How you doing? Is it and blessed man? How you doing? And how you doing, Sister Tracy? So watch this. If you were to go to other countries, some of these other countries, and I'm not even talking about countries that people would describe third world, even though you could say there's third world problems here in the United States of America for those who are in this these 50 countries that are grouped together, under this corporation, right? But if you were to go and do some traveling, and even in your own United States of America, if you will, but it doesn't matter if you're in Canada, Mexico, wherever you're doing this, Ghana, England, wherever, right? I want you to recognize something, that you are rich. Watch this. Somebody would be, and I'm not saying we should be overweight, but hear what I'm saying. Somebody would be like, man, I'm overweight, or I got pounds on me, this and that, or whatever. Go to another country, and when they see you in another country, and they see, thanks for being part of the community, blessed man. When they see you being a few pounds overweight, you know what? They will treat you like royalty. You know why? Because in their mindset, the fact that you carry that weight, and the word glory, part of the definition is weight. The fact that you carry that weight on you, they say, oh, if this person has enough to be able to carry on that weight, then they must be somebody who is rich. I'm not here to tell you, let's all get, whatever your version of the overweight is, because we know that different people can look and be in different shapes, right? Right. But you go to other countries and you have a little bit of what we say, oh, that's too much weight. And they will tell you, speaking of Africa, like you're saying, there was a sister I met in one of the cities in Africa we were in, and I believe Millennium City in Ghana, and she saw us being a little overweight. And so we were talking about, oh yeah, we need to lose this and blah, blah, this and that or whatever. And she said, well, I can't wait to go and visit you guys. When I visit you guys, I'm going to get fat like you. And we would laugh at that here and think that somebody joning, somebody doing the dozen, somebody making fun of us, right? Like, how dare you say that? But over there, she was making the point. No, like over here, we would love to be in a position to where we're fighting off weight. We would love to be in a position where, we can say that, man, food is so abundant that we have to actually fight off food, right? Now, not all Ghana is like that, right? But what she was saying is, in her particular position that she was in, the very thing that we thought made us poor, she said, oh no, baby, over here, that makes you rich. And she was an elder, right? She was like the mama of the community, right? Sister Maggie, never forget her. And well, that was her Christian name, right? But Sister Maggie, until the day that I die, I will never forget that lady, right? First woman to teach me Aqua Abba at the Sen, right? When I had to come back home. Right. Shabbat shalom to everybody coming on, by the way. Thanks for being on. How you doing, Miss Mac? So the very thing that you think makes you poor is really the thing that makes you rich. See, because then what happens is what will happen? I'm telling you got to be prepared. What will happen is they'll see you and they'll see that you look different than other people. And when you walk through the streets now, everybody's going to wait for you to buy something. How you doing, Ali? They're waiting for you to buy something. or waiting for you to give them something, or waiting for you to do something for their children. Heck, they waiting for you to give a blessing to them, to pray on them, whatever, because they see something on you that you don't even see in yourself. You getting ready to go back into a wicked system, and you don't recognize because you haven't gone away from that system long enough that basically, hey, you know, when I go back, I'm going back into something that is abusive, that's abnormal usage, that people talk bad about people, that people take who I am, that people say that I'm not who the word says I am. People say not who my bloodline says that I am. Not even, yes, I know some people don't like this, but not even who my hair and my skin might say that I am. They try to say everything about me doesn't matter, but go somewhere else. And they love you for those very same things. Go to Japan and see if the color of your skin doesn't get you into play. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. Go to Japan and see if there's certain places that that certain people can't get into around the world, but you can. Because over there they see, oh wow, we know the lineage just because of how you look, right? I'm not trying to say that's all there is to it, but hear what I'm saying though. Go to some of these places and they recognize who you are. Right? Right? They recognize who you are. Right? To recognize who you are. They recognize who we are. We don't recognize who we are. You know, I'm always it's always I used to be, now I'm not anymore because of how much we travel and how much activism and how many things we do in the streets and stuff like that. But it used to blow my mind that somebody would look at me and be like, yo, I want to be like you. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to, at the time, you know, I'm trying to do my 9 to 5. And at the time, heck, I might just be trying to get a job. At the time, I'm helping people, but they don't know I'm going back to the shelter. Right. But I was rich. They saw something in me. This is something that happened to me. St. Martin Luther King Jr. Library I was using as an example yesterday. When I said that I heard the girl that was talking to herself and I listened in, I went there and they had on the first floor, they have like a little section that's nothing's there, but sometimes they'll put on little events there and speeches will go on there. And so there were people speaking there. And so I got up and I started speaking when they allow people to get up on the microphone, and people were, you know, shocked, you know, we're like, who is this guy, this and that or whatever. So I finished talking to him, but I'm in the shelter. I don't have a phone, right? So after I finish, I say, hey, to one of the people who's listening to me, talking to me, this and that or whatever, we're having a conversation. Then I say, hey, is it all right if I use your phone? I don't have a phone. I need to be able to call to be able to make sure I can get back to where I need to, right? And the person started looking at me strange because they realized, oh, wait a minute, they don't have a phone. In their mind, everything that I had just said, they thought it was nothing now. Everything they backed up off me. They looked at me different. I wasn't dressed in any bad shape. I wasn't smelling. I wasn't anything. But the fact that I didn't have a phone at the time informed them, because of the system that they're in, right? Informed them that, hey, I can't listen to it. I can't help you. So then all of a sudden it was an excuse. This person was sitting up there ready to have a long conversation. Now all of a sudden, oh yeah, I got to do this, or I'm sorry, I can't, blah, blah, or whatever, right? And I got it because guess what? I used to be the same person. I received what I put out. I used to believe that about people too, and they say all that. Now when you go through it, now you're quick to help somebody who needs something. But before, yeah, I get it, right? You got to be humbled in some things. But I had to learn while being on the street that even though people, what people thought, I had to learn the cognitive dissonance, that people thought that I was poor when they found out that I didn't have money. But before that, they would have thought that I was just as rich as anybody else. They couldn't wait to receive information. They couldn't wait to ask me a question. They couldn't wait to learn what I was talking about. How you doing? I'm Kelly. Thanks for being part of the community. They couldn't wait for those things. But the second they had anything that in this system says that you are poor, is the second that all of a sudden they say we disqualify you. See, because people that are rich are also people that are hated on. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, MJ Freezer. We got to recognize that the very thing that allows us to be rich in this system can turn around and be the very thing that they say makes you poor, right? You think you're poor, really thou art rich. Matthew chapter 5, verse 3, the first of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Thanks for being on, Denise. Right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. And thank you for your likes, for your shares. If you're on YouTube, thanks for even if you want to subscribe or even hit a notification tab so you know when we're coming on. Right? Blessed are the poor in spirit. What does that mean? Spirit, pneumatical thought, Stoic thought that marries the spirit, the body, and the soul together. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Even if you don't have this together, right? Even if you don't have all the answers, even if you're just starting on the journey, right? You can still have the kingdom of heaven. People that are rich comprehend that. And see, here's the great thing about it. People that are rich, once again, they give. And when we give, it causes something called manifestation. That's the key. We got a lot of people that are only focused on the manifestation, but manifestation that's not a sign. Manifestation does not mean you are rich. Manifestation is a sign that you are rich. Hear what I'm saying, right? Manifestation is not you being rich. Manifestation is a symptom of you being rich. Thanks for being part of the community. Time Saint 87, right? That's what's going on. You're looking for manifestation without first realizing that manifestation doesn't happen till you're rich. And once again, look at the definition of rich, the etymology of it, the Germanic etymology, right? Like when you say God, you're talking about a Germanic deity. You're not talking about Elohim, right? When you say all these different terms, you're using Germanic terms, Greek terms, Latin terms. Well, let's stay in that because that's our mindset in this language we speak, right? Even en français, right? 40% of Anglo-ish or English is French, because French people were over it. Well, let's keep on going by this Latin and Greek stuff that people like. If you look up the word rich, riche, you will discover that you have to do what? You have to have something to give. And when you have something to give and you keep giving, right, then what happens is that people manifest certain things because of what you gave, and you will manifest certain things because of what you gave. Thank you, Sister Barbara, for the love. I'm sorry I missed it. Thank you. And thanks for being part of the community, John. Right? The question is, are you rich? Are you giving? You got to believe that what you have is worth giving. Right? Is what you have worth giving? Not does everybody else need to believe it. You need to first develop it. And that's why you feel a lot of hate. That's why we feel a lot of frustration, right? You have to, now I want you to see, once again, you have to see, once again, why do they hate on you? They hate on you because you are rich. Now let's go a little deeper in that. What are we dealing with in society today? People are saying that masculinity is toxic. If you don't give true masculinity, I'm not talking about this false thing they try to call masculinity. See, they try to say masculinity is sagging your pants. That doesn't have anything. Matter of fact, if you know where it comes from in San Quentin, you know that it's not masculine at all, right? I'm not saying that masculinity is saying that I'm the man and you need to listen to me in this house, right? If I'm masculine, my wife will already submit not to me, but to a mission, because she's not in submission, she's in submission. So if my mission is right, then she will trust the mission, even if I'm having issues. Like even if I'm imperfect and I do something wrong, she will still support the mission, even if we're beefing. Why? Because the mission is more important than the man. Right? But we haven't been taught that. See, the masculinity that they're trying to get rid of is them trying to get rid of something that's rich, because I have something to offer. Thanks for being part of the community. 01000100. How you doing? Right? The masculinity I have to give is necessary. And what's toxic is when people have tried to take it away. How you doing, Tahiti? What's toxic is when I don't give what I'm rich in. That's when it becomes toxic. That's when it becomes something that's a waste. That's when it becomes something that's frustrated, right? That's when it becomes something that is non-existent. I have masculinity to give, right? Our sisters have a divine nature, but we've asked them to be strong and masculine while telling men not to be masculine. And then we're trying to figure out why they don't feel secure, right? The sister, right? Our wives, number one need, right? Usually, like 99.9% of the time, a woman's number one need, when you talk about the 6 basic human needs, is going to be security. I need to feel secure in order to operate, right? That's why Proverbs 1:8, husband gives instruction, wife lays down the law. Instruction is given, she has to be the lawgiver. If she has to be the lawgiver, then the person who gives instruction has to protect the lawgiver, right? This is you are rich. You are rich. You are rich, right? You are rich. Not oh, I'm doing this or whatever. Oh, I'm always broke. I would give, but I don't have. See, the reason is you think, see, the reason why you don't give is because in your mind, oh, hello, hey, how you doing? Right? If that's your way of saying hello, Bobby, hello to you as well. Amen. Right? So even when people try to come on and say foolishness, we are rich. Right? Like, you have to know that. You have to know that without a shadow of a doubt. Because I all had the shape of somebody says you aren't rich. That's what Bobby tried to do before he got blocked by the by the moderators. Thank you. Right? You got to know you are rich. What I give something that nobody else can give. I have the ability to do things that nobody else can do. There has not been, thank you for the love, Sir Stephen. There has not been one person on the planet that's ever existed that can do what I do, that has my fingerprint, that has my fervor, that has my gifting, that has my calling. They might have gifts that we're in the same bracket, but just because you're in the same bracket doesn't mean that you're the same person. You can say billionaires are in the same bracket, but there's a difference in between, Michael Jordan and the difference between whatever the guy's name is, Phil, whatever, with the guy who owns Nike. The guy who owns Nike says, oh, that's cute. You want to put Jordans on that? Sure, go ahead. You want to put your logo on there? Sure, right? But we own it, right? There's a difference. They're in the same bracket, but they're not the same, right? So just because somebody might speak like you speak, or somebody might cook like you cook, or somebody might have the business acumen you have, or somebody might be able to make sure they do know law like you know it, or they might be able to heal like you heal. They might be into Western medicine like you're into, whatever. It doesn't mean that they're the same as you. You are rich. You have a gift that nobody else can operate in. It's for you, right? You are rich. And I said earlier, rich people are hated on. Once again, rich people are hated on because, now watch this. Here's another thing that happens too. You got to see if you're rich in the kingdom or if you're rich in this wicked system. Are you rich doing things for your diaspora? Are you rich doing things for people that are down on your diaspora? Are you rich in humanity? Are you rich in trying to enslave others or being enslaved by others? See, now we have to have another conversation. See, because people who you break away from, when you have true freedom, when you start really dealing in freedom, and I'm not 100% free either. That's why we're trying to get this land together. Once we get this land together, right, then we can actually talk more about freedom, right? I have some land, but it's not for our community. When we have communal land, where everybody can kind of meet up together, where everybody can come together, even if it's once a year, it's ours. You can start, right? You can have your own food growing there and stuff. Then you start talking about freedom. And when you get to this place, the more free you become, what you'll recognize is people who are over other people, because remember, true leadership is not over people. True leadership is over an environment. And then you allow other leaders to come in the environment, right? You have to hold over the environment, protect the environment. But other people can come in and lead as long as they follow the rules of the environment, right? And thanks for being part of the community, Nikki and Jake. Appreciate it, right? However, what will happen is when you become more rich in things, you will start telling people you will start giving riches. You will start giving information. You will start showing people how to live better. You'll start speaking in a different manner. You'll start executing in a different manner. You'll start realizing the example, who you truly are. And when you start executing in that, that means you got to give. And other people who want to be over people and not over environments, other people who don't want other people to step up in leadership, they get upset at you when you start giving people reality. The only way you can control a person is to do so from a false sense of reality, because no person can be controlled. Everybody has to be under free will. So the second that you start giving the riches that allow people to be in reality, which is freedom, people are going to come against it. That's real talk. The second somebody says, I'm going to show you how to use and operate in these things for freedom, people get upset. This is why you have shadow banning on a lot of people. This is why you have people who get blocked off of apps all the time, right? This is why we're on Kofi_43. By the way, please go and support on TikTok, Kofi_44. So just in case they, do the same thing they've done twice to us here, or done to us before on YouTube, or done to us before on Facebook, the list goes on, right? We'll have another place that you can go ahead and hear the lives, right? But you got to recognize and realize, you got to be in a position, you got to comprehend that the second that people start causing people to be free is the second people start having the issue. Thank you for the love, Clem and Ransom, appreciate it. And how you doing, K Jiggy? Thanks for being part of the community, right? Freedom causes people, right? Like when you're rich and you want to give other people riches, all of a sudden there's an attack. This is the issue we're having. All these things, if you want to talk about scripture, if you want to talk about belief system, if you want to talk about gods or natures or spirits or whomever it is that you serve, your deist, your deity. Some of you are deists, to where you believe you yourself are going to become a god and all this because you follow other religions and stuff like that, or follow other people's culture. I'm telling you, like, in all those things, People are okay with control. Whenever you start trying to use your the theology, whenever you start trying to use the canon, whenever you start using your life to be able to bless other people and to help them to become rich as well, people do not like that because you are against the system, right? Yes, to give the riches is to disrupt the system. Just like Mansa Musa. Remember Mansa Musa when he was on the road to, through many different countries, and he decided, and on his way over to Mecca, and he started giving out gold. He started just giving out gold powder. He gave out so much of it that he actually stopped. He made gold something that wasn't something that was there. It actually messed up the system. It took, like, in some places a year, some places they say up to 10 years before gold actually meant what it used to mean. When you give somebody freedom in something, it doesn't mean, see, watch this. He still never stopped being Mansa Musa. He never stopped being Mansa. He never stopped being the emperor. He never stopped being the king. He never stopped being royalty just because he gave, right? But to everybody else who had never experienced it, it messed up their system. It made them say, okay, we can't use gold as the barometer of anything anymore because gold ain't that powerful. If everybody's got it, you hear what I'm saying? If everybody's got it, then it ain't, right? If everybody has love, then they can't use lack of love against you. Uh-oh. If I'm in a system where everybody has love, it doesn't stop me from being a king. It just means that we can't say that, oh, I love better. So do you know there's some people who are out here trying to be like, well, I'm better lover than this person. I give more action. I do more in the street. I do more. No. Like once you make love normal, and everybody realizes that they are rich in it and realize the necessity of dealing in those riches. Yeah, same as money. By the way, once again, though, when you realize, see, watch this. When you realize, that's why we teach in sovereignty. And there's we private community, Anthony and SVA. When you realize that money is not real, you actually spend money different. You don't mind spending money when you realize it's not real because you're holding on to something, trying to hold on to money that doesn't get you any return. If you were to try and turn in your money and say, hey, I want my, because this is what money's supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to, let's say you got $1,000. You're supposed to be able to walk into a bank and say, hey, I want $1,000, or even not into a bank, walk up to the United States government and their bank and say, I want $1,000 in gold. And you know what they'll tell you? We can't give it to you. You know why? Because they don't have it. Which means that your money is not what you think it is. How you doing, TJ? And that goes on in all these countries. I don't care if you're listening in Canada. I don't care if you're listening in America. I don't care if you're listening in Ghana. I don't care if you're listening in Puerto Rico. I don't care if you're listening, if you're Cubano, if you're in Dominicano, right? Wherever you are. I don't care if you're in England. I don't care if you're in Kemet, what they call modern day Egypt. I don't care where you are right now. Like, your money's supposed to be backed up by gold. If there's no gold to back it up, then it's not money. So when you realize that, then what happens? You start spending money. Because watch this. You learn this for those of you who gamble, right? Those of you, if you shot dice, I don't care if you played cribbage. I don't care if you've done 21, you're right, or blackjack. I don't care if you play poker, Texas Hold'em, or whatever, right? Scared money don't make money. You start investing in things and you start spending money to get things of value because money has no value. If I have something of value, I'll always be able to get money because people will pay for stuff that has value. That's what you're doing. When you go to the store, you're giving up something that has no value so that you can have something of value. I'm coming to the store and I need food. I can't eat the money. I could, but it probably wouldn't work that well. So therefore, since I actually need some real stuff, let me go ahead and take this money, trade it in with you, get something that I feel is of value, even though this food ain't real food either, but that's, neither here nor there right now, but I'm trading it in. My mindset is I'm trading in something that has no value so that I'll be able to get it. Now you say to yourself, well, why are the stores taking it if it has no value? They're taking it to do what? To invest. They're getting cryptocurrency while telling you not to get cryptocurrency. They're putting it in cold storage wallets so you think cryptocurrency is falling, and then every time that you buy enough of it or sell enough of it, they then put it right back so they lift up the value again. You're like, wow, it went up 10%, 15%. That's crazy. Let me go ahead and buy some. And then you sell the stuff that you buy, and then they take it from you again, and then they put it right back out there. And they're getting it to get things of value. If you don't think cryptocurrency is of value, fine. They're going and they're buying land. Do you know that banks, while not telling you to go ahead and make sure that you get life insurance policies, banks invest in life insurance policies. because the money, they're going to use it for something of value. So they're putting out life insurance companies. Do you know that there are banks and companies and stuff that put out life insurance on you, that have insurance on you, even though you don't have insurance? They put out insurance on you. So that's why when you say, oh man, I can't go ahead, I can't work or whatever, they say, okay, fine, hey, take 2 weeks off, take a month off, get yourself better. Then if you can't come back, they say, okay, we'll amicably split. But they have something in their system that says, oh, when this person leaves, hey, health insurance places, y'all need to pay us because they hurt themselves trying to serve us, right? Like we're not looking at how rich we really are. You are the rich. You are the richest. That's why it's stocks and bonds. Right? You are the richest. That comes from chattel slavery, New York, right? The same place that you're looking at Wall Street, that was stocks and bonds. And they called it Wall Street because on one side of the wall, they were selling slaves. And on the other side, they weren't. Matter of fact, when slaves would die, on one side of the wall, that's where they would bury them. On the other side, they would make sure everybody was business as usual. Let's sell these slaves. They put it on your birth certificate. You have a bond around. Yeah, you have a bond around the edges, and you are the name. The name is the stock. You are the richest. You are rich. Everything that comes out of you, you are the diamond mine. How you doing, TJ? You are the diamond mine. Right? You are the diamond mine. You're the ATM machine. You are rich. See, when you can start reading scripture as in being the one who is rich, then you start getting a better comprehension. You've read scripture as saying that you are poor and you missed it. Right? Matthew chapter 5, verse 3. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven belongs to you. But I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to do it. I don't know Hebrew yet. I don't know what this word means. I don't really know if there's a overall spirit. I don't really comprehend how the universe works. Look. Start realizing that everything goes through a prism in which you are rich. If you believe that Yahshua HaMashiach died for you and died for your sins, if you believe that, or even if you've heard it, maybe you don't believe it as of yet, right? But even if you've heard it, do you know what that means? That means that you were so rich and so valuable that the Most High said, I will send a manifestation of myself and give out every ounce of blood to the point to where when they pierce me in my side, water will come out. I will give every ounce of blood of men, right, to ensure what? That this person, that this asset, that this company, that this business, that this this wealth of information, that this library, that you would be able to make sure that you would be able to live forever, because somebody who lives forever needs to be around riches. If you're a king, right? A king is over a king's domain. Anybody or anything in the domain is a reflection of the king. So he didn't say, I'm going to die so that the earth would stay in position. He didn't say, I'm going to die so that the stars would stay in the sky. He said, I'm going to die because of what's rich. I came for you. How you doing, Ramana? Right? I came for you. And Shabbat Shalom to everybody who's on. I didn't come for everything else. I came for you. I came with something in my mind. I came with something in my heart. My passion was you. That's why he looks over Revelation 2:9, second assembly, and says, hey, the Smyrna, he says, I need y'all to recognize this part of the assembly that y'all think you're poor, but really you are rich. Now, if you want to go deeper into it, peep Revelation chapter 3 and go to verse 7. He says, I'm the one that's holy. I'm the one that's true. He says, I'm also the one who has the key of David, the key of beloved. You would say the key of David. I have that key. And I've opened doors that no man can shut. And I've shut doors for you that no man can open. In other words, I control the vault door. And I'm telling you, as the person who controls the vault door, that you are rich. You are not poor. You are not destitute. You are not ugly. You are not stupid. How you doing, Chef? You are not slow. You are not ignorant. Right? You are not those things. You are rich. How you doing, Buta? Thanks for being part of the community. I don't know if it's Buta or Buta. How you doing, Lottie Dottie? Thanks for being part of the community. Right? You are rich. Not might be. You are rich. See, so this is what happens. Something happens. Oh, thank you very much, Sir Stephen. So something happens, right? This is what happens. You watch the news, they start talking about all this stuff that makes you feel like you're in poverty, and you agree with it. Can you believe that this happened? Can you believe that the Republican Party is doing this? Can you believe that the Democratic Party is doing this? And you start thinking that they're taking away something from you, but they can't take away who you are. We scream into the high heavens because something that really, if you know law, was illegal in the first place. For them to do what they did as far as the abortion issue, it was illegal. That's why they had to take it back. It wasn't just because, look, can we talk about that there's white people who aren't surviving and this and that or whatever? Sure. But it was illegal the way they did it. That's why they had to take it back. It's not because somebody was black in there and because she's a sellout. I try to tell people this when she came into the Supreme Court, and I'm sorry, I forget her name, but when she came to the Supreme Court, she wasn't coming there to worry about public interest. In a sense, she is, but really, she has to worry about public versus private. And she got to make sure that she's into substantive law. And she had to look at procedural law and realize that the procedure was wrong in the first place. We looked at it and said, oh, wow, I can't believe that she did something. She did what was legal. She's bound by a system. She's bound by law. But even if you feel like someone was taken from you, you got to recognize what you are rich. Even if that's your mindset, she took something from me. What did she take from you? Because guess what? Even when they said abortion was legal, because that's what you think the Supreme Court is saying when they made the decision back in the 60s. So you think that the Supreme Court said that, oh, abortion is legal. No, the state has a right. And you as a person, if you believe in voting, you're supposed to go to the polls and vote in people that have your interest at heart or not. And if they don't, you go to another state to where that state has your interest in heart and you get the abortion. You can still do the same thing today. The same states that abortion was legal in, right? They're still legal in those states. And the same states that abortion was not legal in, they're still not legal in those states. All the states did when they brought it up, people don't recognize this. This was 28 states, something like that, or maybe even higher. I can't remember. I think it was like at least 28 states that came to the Supreme Court and said, hey, we would like they didn't come saying we want abortion to be illegal or legal. That wasn't the legal argument. The argument is that we should be rich enough as a state. All 50 states are supposed to be countries. They came speaking kingdom law. They came speaking law. They came speaking law of the republic. We're just not caught up on it. They came talking about riches. They said, look, we're supposed to be a country and we're united in this. However, you guys are trying to make it to where we don't have rights or whatever. We want the rights in our country to have more legal rights to make sure that we have voting for people to vote whether they want this or not. Right? We want to have more legal rights, and we want things to go back to what they were supposed to be in the Constitution originally. And everybody's arguing all this other stuff. And look, those other things, we should hear what people are saying. We should be empathetic to what people are talking about, but we should not go outside of realizing that this was about riches. Even if your whole belief system is white people just start doing this because they're starting to die off and they're not having enough white babies to be able to catch up. Okay, even if that's your position, then fine, recognize they're fighting the battle for riches. They believe that if they have more babies, that they'll have more riches or they'll be able to keep their riches. You're not thinking about the riches because you don't think that you're rich. All these questions that are coming up, all these things that pop up, a lot of times they're popping up because we doubt how rich we are. Jacob's House said people need to look at their state's laws. If it's not good, it's best to move where it's best. Yeah. Right? Like we don't move in riches. We don't move in abundance. Now unto him who's able to do exceeding abundantly, excuse me, above all. And then we turn around and go, oh, I would do that, but I don't have the fund. Why don't you have the funds? Why do you think that you cannot? Like, let me say it like this. Why do you think that it's impossible for you to be able to do those things? Right? Why do you think it's impossible? Why do you think, like, people start looking at these things as impossibility? Are you a king? Are you a queen? Start moving in it. I'm not saying right away that means you get rid of your job. I'm not saying that, you just start, like, if the Most High says walk out on faith and step out of the job, hey, you make sure you're in tune because that's your relationship. I'm not taking accountability for somebody that should be praying and have a relationship for themselves. Okay. Right. Because some people just be like, oh, I heard this pastor on TikTok. He said, just leave everything. I didn't say that. Right. if that's what the Most High says to you, then do what you're supposed to do, right? But we don't even recognize it. Think, exactly, the purchasing power of a community. We will give, like, do you know, like, watch this. And I'm not trying to make, hopefully nobody takes this as me being taking it personal, right? Do you recognize that the only reason McDonald's is like, there's no such thing as a self-made anything. There's no such thing as a self-made billionaire. Okay, y'all ready for this? The only reason why McDonald's has the money McDonald's has is because the people pay for McDonald's. If you stop sewing into McDonald's and sewed in as much into your own food, you can do it inside your own apartment. There's no excuses, right? If you sewed into your own food and stop sewing into McDonald's, I'm not saying McDonald's would disappear overnight because a bunch of people are still going to go. However, if you stop sewing into McDonald's and sewed into your own food, then guess what you would be doing? You would be making a personal faith statement in the riches that you can have that come out of the soil that your own hands can touch. Right? You have the ability to do those things. Right? Like these things that are growing, like in this little bit that's growing here, or whatever. I don't know if you can see the flowers or whatever back here and all this stuff that we got all over the place. Right? But in the little bit that's growing, we got some fruit and stuff growing over here. We got some fruits and tomatoes and stuff that probably gonna pop up out of here a little later and stuff. But in that stuff, you might not recognize what this is, but this is medicine. This is stuff that I don't have to go to a doctor to see. Right? This is a faith statement. Right? This is stuff that, like, these are things that are going to help with my health. Right? Like, you can do that and not have to go somewhere else. You don't have to go to the store for everything. And if it means being vegan just for a season, to make sure that at least you can make sure that you get in a position that you can afford your own chickens, right? And get to a place, because all you need is 3 of them. If you can get 3 chickens, right? Now you got to make sure you look up your state laws and everything, right? But if you can get three chickens to come together, or your laws of your territories, I'm not sure how you would do. Is it territorial law in Canada? I'm not sure how that would work. But if you look up what the law is for your city, your state, whatever governance, and you make sure that you have things together, you get yourself 3 chickens. Guess what? That guarantees you'll have a dozen eggs every week. Now, somebody would say, oh, it's just a dozen eggs. Well, we eat blah, blah. No. Well, first of all, we don't need to overeat. But secondly, if you could get a dozen eggs a week, right? I don't care if that dozen eggs, some of y'all only paying 99 cents for eggs. And really, when you start having eggs come naturally, you realize that you probably never bought natural eggs your entire life. Because natural eggs, all the eggs would actually be different colors. Like, eggs don't come in the same color all the time, believe it or not, right? So if you get all white eggs or all brown eggs, right? So people be like, oh, I got brown eggs, or I got this color eggs, and my eggs are more reddish, right? You said there's a title, who's writing that book, Vegan for a Season? Amen. Yeah, that's a great title. Yeah, amen. Somebody can take that and roll with it, right? But even if you're vegan, for a season, to be able to say, I'm going to make sure I save up. I'm not going to get meat. I'm just going to make sure I grow my own fruits and vegetables. I'm going to do my own tea. I'm going to get to a place where I only eat once a day because that's all I need. And I'm going to start doing these things that I'm going to have my family get on board, because that's what's best for us as a family. Right? Generational wealth, and something that we can pass down generations to, where the next generation realizes that they don't have to start going and paying all this money on stuff that's not even real food, and then having to pay taxes on the stuff that's not even real food. I do all those things long enough, and then what? Now I'm in a position to where riches are abundant for generations. And guess what? Even though you don't have, see, watch this. Here's the deal. People don't look at it right. So people will go, well, see, once again, like I said, see the manifestation? We're working towards being rich. No, the seed is the tree, and the tree is the seed. Everything that tree is going to become, everything your family is going to become, everything your finances are going to become, they are part of the seed. When you plant the seed, you planted the tree. The tree that grows is the same seed. All I need is the seed to be planted in the right environment and to make sure that it's taken care of correctly. And as that seed is taken care of correctly, as it continues to grow, as it continues to move, as it continues to serve, as it continues to operate, as it continues to blossom, it's the same seed. That tree is just the seed. And the other trees that are happening, they're part of the same seed. Right? That's why you have DNA memory. That's why you have generational curses, because whatever's attached to the seed, you got to work that thing out somewhere across these trees, across these things that are coming out. Yeah, I agree with you, Madam Wisdom, most definitely, right? So you got to start looking at generational riches. They start in the seed. You got to plant. What do you have planted? What is the seed inside of you? The seed. What is the seed that's planted inside? What's the seed that's planted inside? I'm sorry. How you doing, Cash? I missed you on there earlier. The seed is already rich, right? That's why a lot of times, if you eat seeds, you will discover that eating seeds is really good for you. A lot of these things that you're eating that you just call nuts or whatever, sometimes they're not, but sometimes a lot of them you're eating the seed, right? It's the seed that's giving you a lot of these nutrients because the seed is designed to give life to something else. So when you're eating it, you're eating life. That's why you got to get out of this seedless mentality. How you doing, Sister Deborah? That's why you got to get out of a seedless mentality. A lot of people have a seedless mentality, eating seedless grapes and seedless tomatoes, and or I guess you can't really do seedless tomatoes like that, but less seeds in the tomatoes, and trying to make sure they have seedless watermelon and seedless grapes and stuff, and then trying to figure out why you're having issues with giving your seed to generations. Of course, you have a problem with your seed and being able to give birth to things because you eat everything that's seedless. Thanks for being part of the community, Squid. Right? Salam. Right? It's the seed, it's the zarah. Right? In the seed is rich so that the tree will be rich. So stop thinking, oh, okay, well, I'm not rich. No, no, no. You are rich because inside of you is a seed. Stop thinking, I can't I don't have the stuff to start the business. The business that I'm in that takes me around the world, takes me around the planet even, right? We're taking a break from the planet since, they want you to be stuck every 15 seconds with something and only a few places we can go without it, right? But the seed for me was I realized I had a gift for learning, a gift for teaching. I have many different gifts that I can talk about, but that was the main thing. I knew that was the thing that was going to help propel me and help for my community. And I realized I was rich in it. I developed those riches. And once again, part of the word rich, the original word rich that we use, chish, even, it means what? It means to do what? It means to give. So I said, okay, I've got to develop what I have. So when I give it out, it can be planted in others. But when I plant it in others, all I'm doing is planting what's in me and others. So guess what? Now, when somebody's gotten something from me, of course, we're going to be cool. Not just because they follow whatever I say, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. How you doing, Sister Sharice? Right? I planted something greater than me, first of all, that was already planted in me because the seed has to be planted. So the seed came from somewhere else. All right, that's a whole nother thing. People think that they just walking around and they better than sliced bread, right? Thank you, Obi Watts. Appreciate it, right? But I want you to comprehend this, right? The reason why I get along with like-minded folk is because I sow what's in me, the riches in me, into them. And they like to sow the riches that are in them into me. And so now, since we carry each other anyways, we just help each other to grow. You hear what I'm saying? Like this medicine that I'm talking about, these plants. Do you not know that every day, well, every day I'm around, right? Every day that I'm around, I get to sow oxygen into them. I'm sorry, I get to sow carbon dioxide into them rather. And they turn around and they sow oxygen back into me. And so my oxygen I'm able to breathe out to allow enough space, right? I breathe out what they need to allow space for what they're going to give me. And they breathe out what I need to allow space for what I'm going to give them. So we are both rich. We have a symbiotic relationship. We're both rich beyond measure because you can't put a measure on how much carbon dioxide that plant needs, and you can't put a measure on how much oxygen I need, and you can't put a measure on how much we give up, how much I have to sacrifice to make sure that I'm constantly giving out to that player. And so when I partake in the medicine, see, you got to see that when I partake in the plant, if I got to use it as tea or whatever, when I partake in the medicine, what happens is the medicine I'm partaking in, hallelujah, this is great stuff right here. This is going to bless somebody. When I partake in this medicine, when I partake in the plant, what happens is that I'm partaking in something that I've already planted anyways. I'm partaking in myself. It's a symbiotic relationship. I'm just giving to me and the plant. When I give to it, if it's watered, if I need to make sure I cut a little piece off, if I need to make sure that I take care of it, if it looks like it's a little down, if it's being too scorched by the sun, and I do something, all the plant is being taken care of by itself because it planted in me. It's a symbiotic relationship. Thank you, Bounty, for the love. Thank you, everybody, for love. And thank you for the share. Appreciate it. Right? It's a symbiotic relationship. Give, and it shall be given unto thee. Constitutional or Elohim's measure, pressed down, shake it together, and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure, that's Luke 6:38, with the same measure, whatever I measure out, the same measure I give out, it shall be given unto thee. How you doing, Sister Mary? With the same measure. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't giving because you don't think you're rich. See, once again, manifestation. See, you think that once you had a manifestation makes you rich. No, the fact that I'm rich causes me to give, and the manifestation is proof that I'm rich. Watch this. I'm rich in hope. I'm rich in faith. It gives manifestation. What scripture backs that up? Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. What does it say? Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. So faith is the substance of what I hope in. So I'm rich in my hope. My hope is built on nothing less than Yahshua's blood and righteousness, on the Messiah, the solid rock I stand, all other ground is sinking sand. I'm faithful to him, and I have my hope in him. I have my hope in kingdom. I have my hope in freedom, and I sow into that. Then when I start walking in that every day, even though I haven't seen the manifestation, when I realize that my hopes is what I'm rich in, then I also start having this thing develop. You call it faith. Faith is me every day walking in my hopes. I'm rich in hopes, and I walk in that which I'm rich in. See, a lot of us are rich in hope, but we don't walk in what we're hoping for. Before somebody would listen to me, I was out preaching to trees. No lie. So everybody sound funny to some people, but I couldn't get an opportunity for the longest time to be able to speak to people. So I walked around speaking to trees. I'd be out in the forest. I had to get it out of me. I'd be out in the forest around the corner from my apartment in Illinois, and I'd be out there walking around talking to trees because I had to preach it. I had to get it off me. Somebody was going to get this word. The angels were going to say, amen, something, right? But somebody was going to get this. I couldn't hold it inside. It was too valuable. I realized it was too valuable. It wasn't just that it was on me. It was pressure. Like, it was too valuable. It had to go out into the system. And even if it was just me practicing, even if it was me getting ready, even if it was me learning how to preach in the worst circumstances, if it was me, thank you, Bounty. If it was me learning how to be able to say, when nobody else is watching, I'll still give out this word. When nobody will show up, nobody cares about 8 a.m. New York time, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. When nobody cares about 8 p.m. Eastern New York time. When nobody cares about classes. When nobody cares about SOC. When everybody just wants me to play, and nobody even wants me to preach because they found that I could play music and didn't even realize that the musician in me, although I believe it to be great, it doesn't mean that it's anywhere close to the person who's the speaker. But nobody else would do it. I was out preaching to the tree. I was preaching in the rain. I sowed, right? I was sowing, and I had to realize that there was a seed in me that was rich, and I had to plant it. And I kept planting and planting and planting. And guess what? All of a sudden, one day, right? Whether it was Sister Sabrina, one day, whether it was Sister Talitha, one day, whether it was I can't remember my man's name, Miami Guardians or something like that, down in Miami. It'd be 1 or 2 people that started coming on YouTube, and nobody else was coming on. And they might not even be on for 5 minutes at a time. I had other people that come on, and nobody would be on sometimes a whole alive. One person would show up and say, you ain't nothing. That was it. But I kept sowing because I didn't believe. My faith was not built inside of. My hope was not in what? Them telling me that I'm nothing. My faith was in, oh, I really am rich. I really have the ability. I can be that dude. I could be that guy that they be talking about, that person that they say that can reach people like that, that person that can actually help this community. I have something that actually makes sense. And I realized it. And I said, even though I haven't even seen a manifestation in my own life, man, this is rich. Then it started turning into, in my mind, it's only a matter of time. I started getting up. It's only a matter of time. I started realizing, man, it's only a matter of time. And I realized even with the one person, right? There's sometimes I do a service. I preach sermons to where nobody was there except me. I preach sermon where there was two people. I preached sermon where it was two physical people that was there. And it was me and a deacon. I preached sermons to where it was 20 people. I thought I was doing all right. Then it go back to nothing. I preached sermons where I was invited in front of thousands, and then all of a sudden went back and couldn't get somebody to allow me to say anything, right? Because they said, you just a minister, just get your time by the way. It's cool. I needed to go ahead and get myself together and to grow and to mature, right? I needed to learn how to be able to talk to people and be able to take hits from people as well. I needed to be able to put stuff out, and simultaneously when I put stuff out, even though I'm putting stuff out, people be able to tell you why it's not correct or this and that. I needed to go through those things and realize that what I had was still rich. So then when somebody started picking up on it, and then when people around the world started wanting to listen to it, and then when we started getting invited to other countries, and then when they took down TikTok page after TikTok page and YouTube channel after YouTube channel and Facebook page after Facebook page, it didn't stop me because I realized, oh, they were only taking it down for the same reason those other people were trying to tell me I wasn't nothing. They see that I'm rich and I'm giving something out that they need. Yeah. And Sister Sabrina's on right now. There you go. See? Sister Sabrina's on right now. I just mentioned her by name. There she goes. Y'all's chosen, right? Sometimes it was just her and I. And by the way, it'd be her and I having some great conversations. Sometimes she was challenging me on things. Sometimes she was like, that ain't right. This is that. And sometimes she was right, you know? But I learned how to be able to do that. And to see her now pop up in the middle of a bunch of comments, it's become commonplace, but she will always have a special place because she was sowing a seed, right? That maybe she don't even think about. And I know I'm not able to be as faithful and as stuff as I once was and stuff, but she was sowing a seed. She was saying, I trust this. I do this. I'm blah, blah. She was saying, you're willing to say some stuff. She was sowing a seed. And so when I speak, it's not just that I speak, she speaks. More so than that, don't forget, the wife come before all that. And so she was the first person to say, hey, you should find a place to speak. And here I go, not thinking I'm rich, thinking that I got to wait for somebody else for manifestation. My wife, Kofi, find somewhere to speak. You got a lot of stuff to say. Yeah, but so-and-so won't let me speak and this and that or whatever. She's like, go on YouTube. You listen to people on YouTube all the time. And so many people you listen to, they don't even have anything close to what you say. Slicing my head up, right? Right. But I loved it. And then got on there, had 0 subscribers, and then had 2. And I think 2 subscribers was her and another page, another Google page that I had. And that was the 2 subscribers I had. Then it went up to 9 when I told other people about it. Hey, please come out and support your boy. And out of hundreds of people I told, I got up to 9. 7 people came on. Still, but I was sized. I remember those days. I had a fervor back then. I was psyched. Like, yo, if you don't comprehend psyched, by the way, that's depending on where you're from, you might not use that term. I was gassed up. I was geeked out. I was excited. I was happy, right? But I was psyched. I was like, yo, there's 9 people subscribed, and even out of 9 people, I still might have 0 people that come on. Then it went to 26. Then it went to 52. I remember these numbers like yesterday. It was like 226. And then it was like 520 something. And then it was like 1,000. So I was like, yo, we doing the big out here. reached 1 million people or whatever, and then had all that snatched away because the World Health Organization didn't like the fact that we were giving out riches. We were telling people this is how you can make sure you take care of yourself, and maybe you shouldn't get this jab. This is the law that protects you, and da-da-da-da. YouTube came out and told me, yeah, the World Health Organization said that what you're saying they don't like. And the only reason that happened is because somebody didn't like me, didn't like the fact that I didn't agree with them. So they told the World Health Organization, and the World Health Organization didn't even tell the truth, because the same things I spoke on, I learned from other YouTube channels and used them as the proof and evidence. But they didn't cancel the other ones. They just didn't like the fact that I was giving out the riches. And I was giving it out to who? Our community. Now it goes a little deeper. And thanks for being part of the community, as Andre, and thank you for the love, y'all. Appreciate it. I'm on. I mean, amen. Right? So you got to be ready. In order to be rich by definition means you got to give somebody something. That's why it's better to give than it is to receive. You have it in your mindset that until I receive, I'm not rich. But receiving is a manifestation of how rich you are. People don't buy products. I need you to get this, right? People don't buy products because they believe. People don't buy products just because the products work or just because the product's cheap. Some people do, but overall, that's not what makes business work. People buy product because they believe in the product. Now, somebody says that's the same thing. No, it's not. Because if I give you an iPhone and the iPhone doesn't work, you will call the company and they will do what? Because you believed in them enough to call them and tell them and not get a refund, what will they do? They will send you a whole brand new iPhone, will probably give you all types of stuff. If the company, if you got to do a Sprint or some other company, they'll probably say, we'll give you such and such amount of time free because you believe in the product. There's certain things you buy, right? People who say like, and all this stuff, and it's kind of, hyperbole. It's fun to go back and forth, but people do the whole thing. Apple against whatever. What do you say? What is it that I don't even keep up with this stuff enough because I don't really care about it. What is it? Android versus Apple, right? Even though not all Androids are created equal either, but it's basically people who are like anti-Apple. But you got to recognize all that stuff is there. It's just people fighting for what they believe in. Right? It's just people fighting for what they believe in. You believe in the product. That's it. I believe in it, so I go to it. I believe in it, so I sow into it. That's why you got to be careful. A lot of people talking about, I want to lose weight. Well, be careful. Watch their actions. If you believe in it, let me see that. I'm not saying I need to see it in general, right? But I'm just saying, if you believe that you need to lose weight, let me check them bank statements real quick. Because you'll have a gym membership. You'll be buying certain food. You won't be going by fast food restaurants that much anymore. Like if you believe in it, you'll sow into it. You'll sow into it even before you see the manifestation because you believe in it. People don't read the Bible correctly because they don't sow into themselves. You don't believe in yourself. Once again, Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. Look, you really are rich. I've seen your tribulation. I've seen the things you're going through. I know you think you're poor, but really you are rich. And I know there's people that say that you are not who you claim to be. And I know that there's times that your people have got to go to prison. And I know there's times that your people have had to go through all foolishness, right? And you might have to stay in for a matter of 10 years and stuff. But I promise you, when you come out, if you can be faithful, you don't sow into it because it gives manifestation. Amen. If you don't believe, you won't sow, right? Watch this. We just talked about this recently, and I don't have the scripture on the top of my head. Maybe somebody can find it for me. Doubting Thomas, right? Matter of fact, Doubting Thomas. He isn't there when Yahshua comes back. He isn't there when the women. Well, he might have been there when the women came and preached that Yahshua was raised from the dead. He isn't there when Yahshua comes back the first time in the room. The 10 disciples, the other 10 are there. He's not. They go to Thomas. They say, "Yo, it was crazy, man. Yahshua actually showed up." And remember, before that, a couple of them had walked with him on the road too. They just didn't know it was who he was because he had a new glorified body, right? So, but they're like, "Thomas, yo, it was crazy, bro. Like we were in the room and he popped up, man, and all these different things or whatever, man. Like it's him. He's back. What he said is real." And then, so what happened? Thomas says, "Yo," and Thomas is real. Like I got a little Thomas in me. Thomas is real. Thomas says, "Yo, until I see him for myself, and until I put my hands in the hole, or I put my hands in the hole in his hands, and until I see the piercing in the side," he said, "Bro, like I ain't." Okay, it's John 20:28. Thank you, Minister Select Joseph. He says, I ain't falling for all this stuff. Like he's just gone through trauma. This is traumatic. This is supposed to be the king and everything, and he gone. All this stuff that we did 3.5 years, times and half the time we was out here in these streets, and he just gone. You know, that's a tough time. He says, until I see it. So then he's there with them again at another time. And now all of a sudden here comes Yahshua again. And he turns to him. He says, "Yo," he says, "Here I am." He says, "Look, here's the holes in my hands. Put your hand in there." He said, "Here's the piercing in my side. You want to touch that too?" And then Thomas turns around and makes one of the greatest declarations ever. Now, in the language you speak now, it says, "My Lord and my God." Yeah, temple, it really is, right? He says, "My Lord and my God," which really would be, you are Yahweh and you are um, um, Elohim, or you are Adon and you are Elohim, depending on how you want to translate it. He makes one of the greatest faith statements ever. And then guess what Yahshua's next statement is? So then guess what his next statement was? His next statement after that, he said, "Okay, Thomas, that's great that you got it there." He said that's a level of faith. But he said, "Blessed are those," he said, "there's a bigger blessing for those that before they see it and before they had to touch it and all that stuff," he said, "but they believed it before that." Do you believe before you touch $1 million that you're worth $1 million? Matter of fact, do you believe that there's no amount of money that can be there? So when somebody says you're worth $1 million, I would like, if I ever get to be worth $1 million, I'm not, right? Even by the world standards. But if I ever were to become worth $1 million, I would say that's too little. I'm not saying that I won't go see the reason why, and I'm thanks for being part of community dancing, Brandon. The reason why I can go other places and speak, and somebody be like, "Can you come here and speak?" And I don't have to get paid $1,000 to be able to speak at somebody's assembly or their school or whatever. You know why? Because you couldn't afford what I'm really worth anyway. There's nothing on earth that's as valuable as I am. Uh-oh. Well, you tried to say that you're the same as the Most High. No, the Most High is more valuable than me. However, he's made me a fellow heir with him. If he has decided that I'm more important, that he has to create a new heaven and a new earth just for me, if that's what he decided, that you got to create a new heaven and a new earth just for me, then why in the world would I be fascinated by the fact that somebody can give me $1,000? I'm thankful for it. I'm grateful for it. But I'm not thankful for the $1,000. I'm thankful that you would give any type of riches to me. And I'm thankful because since you've given, you shall receive. See, people try to play with this thing. Oh, you think that you're better than somebody else? Oh, here go the man of God thing, and him trying to say that you got to give to him and all this stuff. No. That's not how that works. Right? I am a son of the Most High. And so if you bless the son of the Most High, and I try to humble myself to operate as the least of us should. So if I do that, when you treat me the way that you should treat the least, then you become the greatest and you enter into heaven. What you've done unto these the least of my brethren, you also do unto me. When I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. So if somebody gives me something when I'm hungry, and I'm a Levite out here, I'm a true Levite. I don't have a 9 to 5. This is what I do, right? I operate off of a little bit of money sprinkled in month to month. People be thinking I'm operating off of thousands upon thousands. No. Like I operate off a little bit month to month. There's weeks at a time sometimes that we have it to where we don't have anything. Real talk, that's happened to us. And we walk completely in faith. So if I go somewhere and I'm operating in the least, right? Oh, it's my pleasure, madam, right? It's our pleasure, right? But if I go somewhere and I'm operating as the least and somebody says, "Oh, he's hungry, I'm gonna give him something to eat. He's thirsty, I'm gonna give him something to drink," right? He's naked or he don't got the clothes or whatever, I'm gonna give him something to clothe himself. Somebody trying to put him in prison, let me go see about my boy. Let me go see about my dog. Let me go see about my pastor. He in the hospital, he's sick. Let me go see about him. Let me pray about him, right? He's a stranger. He going to a strange land. Let me make sure that he's gonna be okay. Like those are the things that Yahshua himself said. That's what gets you into heaven. Humble yourself, right? And realize that the more humble I am, the more rich I am. Why can I give? See, watch this. I had to humble myself behind the scenes. Once again, I was preaching to the trees. Somebody says, "Why can you preach the way that you preach?" I was preaching to trees, bro. Like legit. Why are you able to travel, man? You know what? Like I was traveling a long time, but nobody cared about. I was traveling for the United States military, and I was actually doing stuff that was harmful to my people. If I could travel for them, why can't I humble myself and travel now? Right? When I was humble, I did those things. Or I'm sorry, when I was nothing, I did those things. So now how easy is it? Would see for a lot of people when they travel, they go see it's big time. I'm this and that. I'm seeing myself. No, I saw myself traveling when I was a little child. So traveling doesn't make me anything. You got to. If somebody can get this, right, we're going to get ready to take our leave soon because we got to allow ourselves to be ready for Shabbat Shalom service on the podcast. The minister and I is going to give us a mighty word. So I'm going to make sure that we get some time as a break for that. But hear what I'm saying. Like, I saw myself and I believed in myself. Even when I became an agnostic person for a minute, there was something in me that I couldn't let go of that I had seen since I was 4 years old. My mother started preparing me at 4, started having me speak to people when I was 6. I was going door to door with other men when I was 4 years old. Even though it wasn't in the kingdom, I was being prepared for the kingdom. So when I start traveling places, this is something I've been doing since I was a little child. This ain't new. Even if I wasn't going to all these countries and states and meeting people and doing all this or whatever, right? When somebody tries to fall all over the place and, I've met people that get in tears or whatever, like, because they might make some weird, you're famous thing. Cause no. Like even when I seen that, like, I'm quick to be like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I'm just a man, like this and that. I'm glad, man. It's my honor to see you. Thank you for allowing me here. Somebody says, I'm going to let you into my house. Like, that's a great honor. Somebody had to let me into their house. Somebody decides, oh, I'll let you spend the night here. Like, I have to take that into consideration. I have to think about that before I even think about a hotel. Why? Because even if I can afford the hotel, or somebody, y'all even give gifts and say, hey, Pastor, make sure y'all got a hotel and stuff like that. Like, somebody giving me the ability to be in their place, they're trying to give me something so they can receive something. It's better to give than it is to receive. So I make myself available to receive only because I comprehend the giving, but I only comprehend the giving because I've been given when nobody was there. Even when nobody wanted to receive, I was given. Amen. A mother's love sown into her son. Right? When I speak, I don't speak just on behalf of Yahweh only, of course. And I don't speak on just on behalf of the Honorable Amma, of course. And I don't speak just on behalf of my son, of course. And I don't speak just on behalf of SOC, of course. But I speak on behalf of my parents. When nobody out here was trying to make sure that I was all right, not because you wouldn't have cared, but because you just didn't know me, they took care of me. They loved on me. They gave. They sold because they saw I was rich. Oh, well, thank you, Sister Cynthia. Right? And I get it, right? Because somebody sees the value. But see, I see the value in you. People think that, like, if this was something, like, people be thinking for real, if this was something just for money, like, I would, yeah, like, for real, like, I could do, like, I've actually been reading and trying to figure out how to do some stuff, and maybe we make some more money for SOC with me maybe going into the circuit, back into the circuit, and do the motivational speaking more like I used to and stuff. Because real talk, like, I'm not making no this ain't bringing no bread, no chicken, no cheddar, no money, right? But it's developing riches. I'm out here right now. And the stuff that I'm doing, we finally got the link and everything up for one of the different things. We got so many different things going on as far as our trying to raise money and fundraise. Y'all don't even know, right? And we finally got one of the bigger ones that we think will help out. We've been sending it to people this rising, being like, hey, please check this out. See what you think about this. See this or whatever. See if it this and that or whatever, right? But hear what I'm saying and all that stuff. Like, so because we're doing that because if I had it like that, like, I promise you, I would just pay for this stuff and we would be done. Right? I ain't right, but I'm doing that and trying to find ways for us to be able to have more, to do more, and to grow more, and to have more. You know why I'm trying to do these things? I'm trying to do these things because of what the Most High said that we need. Y'all need the land just as much as I need the land. We're developing riches. Y'all need your marriages to be solid as much as I do. I need y'all to be husbands and wives, premarital husbands and wives, and marital husbands and wives. And if you're post-marital, okay, fine. Relearn how to be a premarital husband or wife if you didn't know how to do it in the first place. Or if you did, rather. I need you to do it, right? Because of the value that you have, because of the riches. You are rich. You are too rich to be out here trying to have relationships like the world does. You are too rich to think that your whole life needs to be governed by somebody's schedule. You are too rich to not be able that when it's time for us to say we're gonna meet together as a family, and we can't meet together as a family because you're so stuck in by somebody else's system. You are too rich that when your grandchildren aren't ready to be taken care of. Our children's children. You are too rich. Rich means that you have to be able to give something. It's time, like this is set up for giving. Give of yourself, give of your time, give of your talent, give of your effort, give of your energy. When I said that right now across somebody's mind, right? Allow me to be in the spirit for a second. Allow me to be faithful to Lavakakudash. As soon as I said that, thank you for the love down to him. As soon as I said that in somebody's mind, you already held on. You said, yeah, this is the thing that makes me rich. I should have been done that. I should have been given to that. I should have been praying about that. I should have been, as soon as I said it, right? For somebody, I feel like in my spirit, I could be completely off, and I don't need nobody to say yes, no, whatever. This is for you. In my spirit, as soon as I said it, I felt somebody say, "Man." As soon as I felt in my spirit, I could see somebody cooking and being like, "You know what? I cook better than all these people. I should have been doing this. I should have been giving this out." If you would give out your product, your food for free, people would start paying for it if they realize how great it was. But you don't give it to nobody. That's why it's better to give than to receive. The giving is what allowed people to receive. Why do people even want to give into and donate and do things and give their time, talent, effort, energy, and stuff? Why do people want to do that with us? Because we gave out something that was in line with their hopes. And they said, man, well, if it's in line with my hopes, and possibly I can put faith into this. Let me study it. And now that it's there, well, let's see if there's any manifestation. Oh, this is manifesting things in my life. I'm showing up. I'm going to give more, right? You got to give. Somebody said candles. Okay. Yeah, I felt in my spirit. At first, I saw something like this, and then I saw somebody's hands moving like this, right? There's somebody, when I said that, the first thing that popped up in your mind, man, I should have been making sure that I was selling these clothes. Somebody, as soon as I said that, somebody said, I should have been making this food. And I'm talking about growing your own food, right? As soon as I said that, it popped up. Why? Because you got to recognize that, like, it's not that it's not in you. It's that you don't believe that makes you rich. That's the thing right there. You think the 9 to 5 makes you rich. That's the thing right there. I felt somebody just smile, right? That's the thing right there. That thing that just made you smile. That's the thing right there. How you doing? My wife is on, the Honorable Alma. Thanks for being on. Once again, you can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish, not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. How you doing, Heenbug? Shalom. You said I put so much love and positive intention behind them and gave them to family and friends. Yeah. And even, right? And use your gift to be able to give to yourself. Yeah, and then people wanted to buy it, right? Like, you give it out. And when you give it out, that's what, like I need you to comprehend. Bill Gates gave his product out for free. He said, this is how it works. This is how it operates. IBM said, no, we good, bro. Right? You don't have to like Bill Gates. I just use him because that's the standard people always use for money. Right? People like Steve Jobs, I always talk about him because Steve Jobs gave it to people and said, hey, look, man, I got this idea. Y'all want it or not? They said, no, we ain't really rocking with that. See, sorry. And then he's passed, but still his name is synonymous with Apple still to this day. Even though he's dead, yet does he still live. Right? People were out there saying, you know what? I don't know about like watch this. See, riches. We don't comprehend what riches are. We don't think that we're waiting for the manifestation, or because something doesn't make sense. If it's time to move and you know that you have this feeling of riches, move in the riches. All right. Magic Johnson, who's I believe is a billionaire, or is worth, billions, whatever. Magic Johnson is when he was playing, somebody came to him and said, hey, I want you to represent my shoe. Now he had either that, I forget, what were the Magic Johnsons? Were they Converse? I don't know. He wasn't doing the Chucks, right? Did he do Converse? He didn't do Adidas, right? Him and Magic might have both been or with Converse. I don't know. Or him and Magic, him and Bird. But somebody came to him and basically was like, yo, we want you to wear our shoes, but we don't have money to pay you right now. We can only just give you these things called stocks. Well, he from the D, right? He from Detroit. So he like, I don't know what stocks are. He said, give me that money, thinking that money was real, not realizing that he was going to have a piece of a company. Was a pony? I don't remember, in all honesty. Like, I was born and growing up in the 80s, so I can't really remember what his initial stuff was. But It was Converse. Okay, so he goes with Converse, which is still around today and it's still respectable. And people mostly, for the most part, usually do, sympathetic stuff to Chucks or things like that. Sometimes they still get sneakers, but the company that came to him was Nike. The company that came to him was Nike. They said, we see your gifts and talents. We know you about to blow up. We know the NBA is about to make you and Larry Bird the face of this thing. He said, I want to give you a percentage of my company. Now he looks back and he sees Jordan got his own brand. That could have been magic. The reason why everybody loved Jordan the way he done, not just because he won, it's because that Nike came along, right? A Gatorade came along, a lot of stuff like that. And y'all remember, sometimes I dream that he is me, right? That's what y'all remember. A lot of y'all don't even remember all the phase and the tongue hanging out. Some of y'all don't even follow sports like that, but you remember, like Mike, if I could be like Mike, I want to be like Mike. Like y'all remember that. Why? Because they were sowing the seed because they saw the riches. Now, you didn't recognize the riches was him working his tail off since he was a little child to become the basketball star that he has. Yes, he had a gift, but he had to work harder than everybody else. But you didn't see that. All you remember is what? You got into what? The brand. You like what it represents. You like what you believe in it. So even if you got young people that never seen Mike play, they still paying $300+ for these shoes, standing in line, hoping that they're able to get some. And they put these things out on a limited basis sometimes. Because Mike's like, I don't even got to sell as many as I used to. I'll just sell for a certain amount of money, limited stuff. And all these cats, no matter what age, they're going to spend all this money. Why? Because they believe in the brand. Before they get the shoe, right? The shoe lost value the second it touched their foot. But they sold into the riches. Thank you, Tashula. They sold into the riches. You hear what I'm saying? It was it's rich. The riches are inside, right? Shaquille O'Neal, he could have owned a bunch of Starbucks. Guy came to him talking about, hey, I'm gonna have Starbucks. He said, I'm gonna do all the stuff with Starbucks. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, or whatever. We're gonna sell coffee. Shaquille O'Neal said, no, I'm not going to go ahead and do it. He doesn't do stuff he doesn't believe in, right? He said, I don't believe it. And the guy said, well, why don't you believe in it? You know what Shaq's answer was? Shaq's answer was, black people don't drink coffee like that. That was his experience, right? Maybe his experience said, we don't drink coffee in our home. I don't know no black people that really drink coffee like that. I don't know no black people that do. But black people at that time in the 90s, we were drinking coffee, right? We were always drinking coffee for real. But we were drinking coffee. But in his mind, right? So he couldn't see the riches. He couldn't see the value. He didn't even do the research. He just said, oh, I'm going to just say no to it. I'm not even going to see if there's any reason to have hope in it. If there's a reason to have hope in it, then maybe I'll put faith in it. I'll make a faith statement in it. And then I'll see the manifestation later on. Now he sees the manifestation. Every time he sees the manifestation, he says, ooh, so that's a problem. You said you've been drinking coffee since you were 10? Well, I don't drink coffee that much unless I'm trying to stay awake, right? But I'm not saying this whether it's valuable or not. I'm just saying I don't do it. But Shaq's whole thing was black people don't drink coffee. Well, Shaq, you weren't just selling coffee to black people anyways. What's your hope in? What's your faith in? Why don't you believe this is rich? Is it because you can't see? Oh wow, Sister Shima, you are from kindergarten. Right. But hear what I'm saying. Some of you guys are missing the boat on stuff because just like Shaq did, you like, oh well, the people I hang around with, or the environments I've been in, or the situation I've been in, or the things that I've done, or the fact that people mistreated me, or the fact that people told me I couldn't do anything. That means that, I'm not going to sow into something. But what if you need to sow into something that's greater than you? You still got a seed. Seeds don't just, if you plant a seed in the ground, right? There's a bunch of grass around me on the side, right? Just because there's a seed on the ground, there's one grass seed, right? Doesn't mean that grass seed can't have another grass seed and have another grass seed and have another grass seed and have another grass seed. How you doing, Denise? How you doing, Anubis? Right? Just because it hasn't been your experience doesn't mean, right? So when you sow into something, you got to start sowing into stuff, once again, dealing with what? Riches. When I sow into you, I'm sowing something rich. If it wasn't valuable, if it's not valuable, then it shouldn't be rich. You shouldn't be giving it. You shouldn't be selling it. If you ain't got nothing to say, then don't speak. But if you got something powerful to say, then speak it. Right? And some of y'all got something to say, but you ain't speaking. Sow it because it's rich. I'm gonna say that a few times as we get ready to take our leave, but I need you to hear it. I need that to be the last thing in your spirit before we go ahead and move on and take a break, and then hear the word from Minister Anais about making sure that we recognize what's going on as far as time and how it works. But sow it because it's rich. Sow it because it's rich. Yeah, I did. I'm gonna mention it again, babe. Right? Sow it because it's rich. Sow it because it's rich. If you don't know that it's rich, develop it or see if it is. Test it out. Try to see. Try to see it's of Elohim. If it's of Elohim, it's rich. Give it up. And nobody's gonna know if it's rich if you don't give it out. Right? Nobody's gonna know if your struggle was worth anything if you won't ever communicate that you've had struggles. Some of your children are having an issue because you won't tell them the struggles that you went through, and they think that you're perfect, but they know that nobody's perfect, so they think you a liar. Tell them some of the things that you went through and that you've had to become better in, and see if they don't become better. So even your trials and tribulations, all things work together. Your trials and tribulations, even they are rich because they're going to serve, because you love Elohim and you're called according to his purpose. It's going to work for your benefit. It's because you're rich. Somebody put me through the trial, through the fire, through a bunch of things that are going on. I'm still here. That's rich. Somebody needs to know you can be homeless on the street and still be able to make it. That's still rich. Somebody needs to know you can be divorced and still make it. That's rich. Somebody needs to know that you ain't have yourself together. How you doing, Minister Nice? We were just talking about you. We're gonna get ready to take our leave so we can be ready to listen to you, right? Somebody needs to know those affirmations. Amen. Romans chapter 8, verse 1. Right? You are above condemnation. Romans 8:11. You are eternal. Romans 8:18. You do not compare. Romans 8:19. You are the manifestation. Romans 8:28. All things are beneficial. Somebody needs to see that you are rich. Somebody needs to see you in your struggle. My testimony. That's why you remember back in the church times and stuff like that back in the day. The mother might step up. She might not say anything except God is able. Testimony time. I love him. Everybody had to say something. Why? Because even if you could just say I love, somebody say I'm still here. Somebody's testimony might be the same every time. We used to make fun of it. And I get it, because we don't necessarily need to be in vain repetition. However, there ain't nothing wrong with somebody saying he picked me up and he turned me around and he placed my feet on solid ground, right? Like there's nothing wrong with admitting from time to time that I made it through, because that's rich. See, because somebody else, they going through and they're like, I don't know if I can do this. Somebody else is talking about suicidal thoughts. Somebody else is like, yo, I don't know how to make this happen. Somebody else is going through, like, I'm telling you, I'm dealing with people had children and they worried about what the hospital is going to do to their child. Can I make it out of this hospital without them sticking them and doing that? Give them a testimony. Sometimes your testimony is the richest, but you got to realize what you have is rich. A lot of the times a lot of these questions that we have about the Bible are due to the fact that people don't recognize that they are rich. You are rich. You got to give it out because it's rich. Sow it because it's rich. Sow it because it's rich. Right? Sow it because it's rich. You don't have to type this, but just repeat after me if you would like to, right? If you want to confess this, I don't know if you're in a place where you feel embarrassed. I don't know if you're in a place where you can't speak right now or whatever. Some of y'all be listening on the job and stuff. Please be careful with that, by the way, because we always record these, right? But sow, I want you to say, I will sow because I am rich. All right? I will sow because I am rich. 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 Watch this. If you're not rich, you can't sow. We got to stop. Minister and I, some be faithful. We got to stop, right? But I will sow because I am rich. Holy Spirit just speaking to me right now. There's some stuff I got to make sure I go inside today and sow some things inside my own home because I am rich. And I'm sitting up here holding stuff that I need to sow. I told you this word hit you first before it hit everybody else. I will sow because I am rich. I can't hold this word inside. I got to get this word to y'all. That's why I be begging y'all. Please let me come and preach on a Wednesday. It was supposed to be my day off. I'll be begging and pleading with y'all, don't I? Because I got to get, even though I need the day off, I got to sow rest into myself because I'm rich. But man, I'll be wanting to get, because I got something rich. And it's not just because I want to tell y'all that I'm better than y'all. No. I'm giving it to you because once again, the definition, the etymology, you can't be chish, you can't be rich unless you yourself are giving. The overflow. Thou prepares a table in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anoints my head with oil, my cup runneth over. I sow because I'm rich. When I show up, and y'all please don't have a nasty mind about this. I want y'all to make sure you're right. I want you to hear this, right? Govern yourselves accordingly. I show up, I'm wet, I overflow. It would make sense that somebody who's overflowing all the time is always wet, is always got oil flowing off. It would make sense that every time somebody would rub up on my shoulder, they'd be like, whoa, right? It would make sense that everywhere I go, I have to be a blessing. It would make sense that everywhere you go, you have to be a blessing. It would make sense that you are that people who are rich in the system that don't want others to have anything are upset at you because you would dare give them something, right? You realize you are going up against people. You're going up against a job, and thank you for the love. I appreciate it. You're going up against a child. You're going up against people who are counterproductive when it comes to giving. They want to take from everybody, and then they say, I have riches, but by definition, thank you for the love, you can't be rich without giving. I must sow. I will sow. I have to sow. By a result of my will, I have to sow. Why? Because I'm rich. And by the way, if you eat too much stuff that's rich, and you just eat rich and rich and rich and rich and rich and rich, right? What happens? You get sick. You might die, right? So every once in a while, you got to get rid of the riches. See, some of y'all spoiled right now. Some of y'all dying right now. Some of y'all are overwhelmed right now because you try to hold on to everything. Can't get rid of nothing. Can't get rid of a word. Can't get rid of no money. Somebody on the street is sitting up there. Hey, you know what? I'm trying to sell flowers. You know what? Fine. I ain't buying flowers from you, but homie, you out here trying to take care of your family. You know how much the flowers? $5. Here's $10. I don't even want no flowers. Right? I'm rich. My family's all right. Your family need to be all right. And then you will be replenished. Exactly. Right? But I got to make room. Remember, we just talked about it. I give out carbon dioxide, and when I give it out, I make room for oxygen. And when it gives out oxygen, it gives it out so it can make room for carbon dioxide. And all we're doing is feeding into each other. What I have is rich, so I have to sow it. What it has is rich. It has to sow it. Hallelujah, right? Like that's a word. I'm too rich not to sow. Ooh. We're going to say that one. I'm too rich not to sow. Somebody said started from the bottom, right? I'm too rich not to sow. It's a mandate on the king that he gives. Any king that's valuable, any queen that's valuable, she sows. He sows. Thank you for the love, right? If you sow, what you sow, that also shall you reap. If you ain't reaping nothing, you got to go back to the drawing board. Is it because I don't believe I'm rich enough to sow, right? I'm too rich not to sow. If I really was poor, I wouldn't be sowing. If I really was poor, I wouldn't be out here praying for people. If I really was, if I really was poor, if I really was busted, I really was disgusted. But guess what? Blessed are the poor in spirit. Why? Because the kingdom of heaven belongs to you. So even when you believe that Revelation 2:9 that you are poor, really you are rich because the kingdom of heaven belongs to you. There's never been a time in your life that you've been poor. There's never been a situation you haven't been able to make it through. There's never been a situation that you cannot overturn. There's never been something that you will not be able to make it through. You have survived every single thing that has happened. I don't care if they try to throw you out on the street tomorrow. You have survived everything. Why won't you survive that? I am rich. I'm so rich that when others give up, I never give up. I'm so rich that when others won't speak, I always speak up. I'm so rich that when other people can't homeschool, I homeschool. I'm so rich that when other people won't take care of their family and their familial responsibilities, I take care of mine. I'm so rich that I won't just spread my legs for any dude to come by talking about he's husband material. He got to be worthy of it, because if he gets it once, he's gonna have to take care of this for the rest of his life. I'm so rich that if I'm gonna make sure that I am a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable, I'm gonna be about the mission of Elohim. I will not accept any wife, or I will not look for anybody who's not a wife, because a wife has to be submitted to the same mission I am. I'm too rich not to sow. Anything that's a part of me, it has to sow. Anything that's a part of me, it has to sow. Anything that's around me, it has to sow. If you part of SOC, sow, baby. So we ain't got time to not sow. I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about sow. Sow into your community. Every first Friday, we're supposed to be out there giving people stuff. Did you do it last week? So I'm not asking for you to tell me every time you do anything. I'm just saying so. I'm too rich not to sow. You part of a kingdom that's too rich not to sow. The Most High sowed His only begotten Son. Let's get it, right? That's the standard. People be talking about, why did He sacrifice Isaac, which is foolish because He didn't sacrifice Isaac. But why would He even make it look like He's going to sacrifice Isaac? He showed He had a ram in the bush. Later on, that ram in the bush ended up being Yashua. He gave His own son to show that, hey, I won't allow you to even sow your own son, but I'll sow mine. And I know there's certain things that, see, you got to comprehend that. Be in your lane, get your stuff together, right? There's certain things I'm not going to ask for y'all to sow. I get it. That's why I'll be the face of this. That's why I'll take on the brunt of whatever. That's why everybody, if they want to go ahead and say bad thing or whatever, let them say it about me, right? If it takes us a couple extra weeks or a couple extra months or whatever, and the land stuff don't get together or whatever, or we don't buy it outright, but we got to make payments towards the end, but we pay a whole lot of money. If that's what happens, I pray it doesn't, right? But if that's what happens, if we don't get past the fundraiser, which, by the way, we got the fundraiser stuff set up, and we're trying to make sure that it's there. We're going to be doing stuff as far as trying to do, like, what, if y'all remember what we used to do back in the day in school and stuff with, when our children had fundraisers, and you might sell, like, toys or try to get enough snacks and stuff so that you might get a toy, you might get a bike or this and that. We're doing something very similar, right? To try and see if we can catch up on some of this costs to make sure that we hit our mark, right? And we're going to try to bring the other ones right behind it. We're trying to finish up the stuff with the shirts. We're trying to finish up the stuff with the books. We're trying to finish up the stuff with the music. So it's going to be all hands on deck, because before we know it, August, September, October, right? So before we know it, it's going to be time for us to walk in what we're supposed to. So we have those things together. We even have it set up where I believe you can take I forget what that's called, but when you can take a picture of the little link or something, you can even click on that. But I'll have all that stuff up for you guys and send out to you guys very soon. We've actually sent it out to a couple people so they can start kind of testing it out and seeing how it works and different things like that. Make sure that we got some things together. But yeah, and all these different things that are popping up, right? But if that stuff doesn't work out, at least not the way that we think it's going to initially, I'm willing to take that. Right? When you in your calling, be willing to take it. You see, you got to be bold in this. QR code, thank you. Right? You got to be bold enough. You got to be willing to do those things. Right? Thank you for the QR code thing. I am not great with technology at all. Right? Well, I won't say at all. I'm getting better. Hallelujah. Right? But see what I'm saying? Right, you got to be in a position. We'll try to send it out. I'll try to maybe do it through Google Calendar invite or something like that, and then we can and talk it through some more. We got our next weekly meeting next week, and we need to also do we've been putting YLP 83 stuff out, but we still haven't had a new meeting. So hopefully you guys have been checking up on that stuff and typing in questions, comments, concerns, and different things you want to see run, so we can make sure we have that stuff together when we meet up, and also we can continue to do things right, even without speaking to each other. But I'm trying to tell you, right? Like, even if those things happen, guess what's going to happen? They come in looking for Kofi, and that's okay, right? Because I've decided to be a representative, but my hope and my faith, I'm all in. And the Most High told me this is what we're supposed to do. So however He's going to make it happen, I don't know all the details. I just know I'm all in, and I'm going to keep sowing, right? I'm going to keep sowing because I'm too rich not to sow. And He's given us this stuff. We're too rich not to sow. Right. So we got to keep doing no matter what, whatever it is. See, that's part of the reason. I'm sorry, Minister Nice. I promise you, I'm trying to stop. Right. I promise you, I'm trying to stop. We got to get ready to take our leave for real. So it's going to be an abrupt stop. Allow me to say this. Somebody needs to hear this, right? There's some things that you've been called to do that you're afraid to do because the buck's gonna stop with you. And I get it. If it don't go right, everybody ain't coming looking for your children or for your spouse or for your community. They coming looking for you. I get it. So there's some things that you stopping short in because you're like, well, if ain't nobody gonna be able to do it but me. But here's the deal: you're never by yourself. What's been sown into you is by the Most High. Remember, I told you that the way that we're breathing, I'm breathing out what I breathe in. This plant is breathing out, right? So it can breathe in. All right. The Most High, He put something in you. Whenever you breathe out, you're making room for what He's going to breathe in. And when you breathe in, you're exhaling what He breathed out. You're not by yourself. And some of us are thinking that we're not, hey, we shouldn't move. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't operate. Maybe I shouldn't go. Maybe I shouldn't give this much time. Maybe I should just go ahead and be okay with where I'm at. You know what? I'm not really happy with where I am, but I can survive where I am. But guess what? Like, just because you don't think that you can do it within yourself, I want to tell you something. That's a great place to be. Because in your weakness, Yahweh is made strong. That being said, thank you. We appreciate you. We honor you. And we're glad and grateful for you being on today. Please check out my wife once again, the Honorable Amma, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest at Bloom and Flourish. Not A&D, the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. The tincture of the month is still, beat diabetes. Thank you so much for everything. We appreciate you all. We really, really do. We're honored and grateful to be before you. And we look forward, those who have class tonight, we have class, our last 2 classes for marriage and for biblical law. Last week for marriage, nobody came on, so we didn't really do the Q&A session, but we'll try and end. We might do a little Q&A tonight for those who want to try and come on. And then next week, and then this is our last biblical law class, where we'll try to go finish up with Numbers and Deuteronomy. So we're grateful and thankful for that. We appreciate you though, but let me get out of here. Thank you, SOC. Mad love and respect. August 15th, October 14th through the 16th. Y'all know what it is. Look online. Keep looking at the updates. We've been trying to update stuff. Thank you, babe, for everything that you do behind the scenes and dealing with me, and the fact that I know I've been a little out of sorts or whatever, but I appreciate you. I honor you. Thank you so much for everything. Y'all don't know how much my wife does and helps in my calling, which really is our calling. So I'm thankful. As I speak, she speaks as well. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Ms. Mack, we hope you feel better soon. To Lottie Di, to everybody, we appreciate you. And as always, it's been Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant of Christ, where we are always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voices and speaking the unspoken. Until I have the next privilege, opportunity, responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, just know that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, in you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. Shabbat Shalom. Ministerial. So those who are ministers in training, to the ministers in training, meeting today on 5 p.m. Eastern New York time, I believe. Meeting today, training today, rather, for you who are just ministers in training, ministers in training, not ministerial training, ministers in training, and then don't forget about class tonight. I'll see everybody else tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern New York time. Thank you again. Take care of yourselves. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Don't forget about the podcast, Shabbat Shalom service. Minister Nai is going to give a mighty word. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.